If you stay doing the minimal tasks in the rat race, like all that stuff, you will always be doing those things. At a certain point, you have to say, look, this may cost me. This is a risk, but it's a good risk to bet on because it will allow you to be successful. Invest in somebody to help you, and it matters who it is, right? So I recently brought on a personal assistant. She's phenomenal. It's part-time. The amount of minimal task stress that this woman has taken off my plate, oh my God. And it has allowed me to focus on the things that I should be focusing on, right? Because I shouldn't be focusing on trying to order the yearbooks for the kids and trying to figure out why there's a letter missing off of my VIN number with my insurance company and like all these minimal things that you have to do. You know, they're going to take my license away if I don't figure it out. But like, I don't have a half a day to dedicate to that. Teams and systems are very, very, very important. And it will cost you. It is a cost of your business, but build it in. That's my recommendation, is like, that is something that is going to cost you something, but what it's going to give you is going to be so much more valuable and you'll gain so much more success for it. It's worth it, you know, and I get it. It's really difficult.
Welcome back to the Leverage Lounge, where we explore systems, strategies, and the stories that help elite entrepreneurs scale their businesses without scaling their stress. And today's guest, you already know the name, Gina Kirschenheiter. Millions recognize her from the Real Housewives of Orange County, but fewer know the powerhouse behind the scenes. A savvy entrepreneur, a fierce mom of three, and a woman building a media brand, a lifestyle platform, and a business empire in real time. In a world that loves the highlight reel, Gina's showing up with real business moves. And in this conversation, you're going to see a side of her that most interviews miss entirely. So let's get into it. Gina, welcome to the lounge.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Absolutely. We're so excited for you to be here. You know, you and I met on a fateful day in Miami at EXPCon, and we became like fast friends. I was like, you know what? You should be on the Leverage Lounge podcast. You're like, I think I should too. Right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, we definitely did. It was kismet.
It was kismet, indeed. Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about what you're building today. Before we get into some of the stuff behind the scenes, let's talk about the business, the brand, and all the new ventures. Like, what does a typical week look like now in this season of your life?
Okay, a typical week. It's so funny because I would say no week is typical, right? So Every week is different. Every week is changing. Every week looks different, but every week is very busy. I would say a lot of meetings, as you know, because I'm a true believer that the more rooms you put yourself in, whether that be physically or in this day and age virtually, the more opportunities you have and the more that will come out of that. So like my weeks are generally like a mixture of taking meetings about potential new projects. Right now, I'm really excited actually because I'm working on a digital product, a curriculum for social media marketing to help people to build their platforms and move that forward. So I take a lot of meetings about that, working on the content for that. And then obviously a lot of meetings, just real estate based meetings, right? So I do a lot of listing appointments. I have active deals right now. I take out my buyers. You always got to like meet someone for an inspection or a termite guy or whatever it is. And then also I'm generally on, 27 different fields, whether that be lacrosse fields or a cheerleading competition. I have 3 biological children and I have 3 stepchildren. So, there's always, so there's always a school performance I try to be just as active and present, even more for my children. Like that's my real life, so everything I do, all the success I have, everything I build is all in an effort to just get back to my kids and enjoy my life with my kids.
Wow. So you're a mom of 6.
Yeah.
Let's get that. Yes. Let's get the record straight. Yeah. So you're busier than I even thought you were. So how do you define success today versus how you used to define it?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. You know what? I don't think that I used to define it. I just think I don't even think I really used to think about it, to be honest. I think that what I have experienced in the past 10 years of my life, I'm a completely different person. And I like to spread that message because I want people to understand that wherever you are in your life, whatever age you're at, that doesn't have to be what you're going to be forever, right? Like you can redefine yourself and you can create success from any point and stage in your life. And I think that my younger self, I thought I was going to have a completely different life. 10 years ago, I was married. I had just moved to California. I moved pregnant with my third child. I thought I was going to be married forever and that was going to be my life. And then everything changed, and now I'm no longer with that person. I'm with somebody else. I have 3 stepkids. I have a successful business. I don't like to put definitions on things that I think are exponential, like success, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm going somewhere, I'm going the right direction, and I can go as high as my life will take me, basically.
But I hear you also saying that, like, you mentioned, like, you're on the lacrosse field, you're at the cheerleading competitions. And so it sounds like, to me, you're a successful even mom, not only just a business entrepreneur, but
Oh,
you're a successful
yeah.
mom because you're making and finding that time to still be present when you have all this other stuff still going on. And there's a lot of people who feel like they're failing at life because they're winning at business, but losing in their personal life. But you seem that
Yeah,
you found
I
a way
understand
to,
what you're saying.
yeah,
Your lifestyle, your home life, that is it, right? That's the most important thing. So you need to have things for yourself. I think, like, as a woman, especially, I understand and I like to have things for myself, drive something outside of my children and my home life. But like, that's where life is happening, right? That's why we
yeah,
do all of these things.
that's
If
right.
you are on those fields, if you get to spend that time with your children, like, I don't take that for granted. I think because I work so much that the time that I'm with my kids too is so important for me. I feel so full in my heart and so successful in my personal life with my children and as a parent. Like, that is success. Listen, we live in this day and age too, where like, if it's a privilege to put your kids in sports, it's a privilege to have them in any activity. It's a
Yeah,
privilege to have a roof over their head, to get them a good education. Anything that you're doing, like, that is success right there. Like, it is not easy to live in the world we live in today. It's extremely expensive and
yeah,
everybody's doing the best they can. If you are giving your kids the baseline of love and you're there and you're teaching them lessons and you're, making them good humans, that is success, right? And then anything you're doing above that, I mean, people who put their kids in club sports, that is a whole nother beast, right? I mean, I can't even imagine that. But I just really think if you're showing up for your kids, if you're providing them with love, if you're giving them lessons, if you're
yeah,
trying to make them kind, good, decent humans, you're winning.
yeah. And in this day and age, everybody has an opinion about what you're doing, right? And whether you're doing it right. Are you doing it enough? Are you doing enough?
Yeah.
You have a platform that millions would just kill for. So how do you choose what to
Yeah.
prioritize with all that's coming at you throughout the course of a day, week, month?
To be completely honest, that's really hard. That is really hard. That's been a
Yeah.
really hard thing for me. And I'm being really honest when I say I haven't always got that right because you don't always know. And so for me, the last couple of years, it's been a lot of trial and error. And then that's how I believe you learn. What I would say is, like, I try not to go all in on one thing. I believe in the eggs in the baskets. Even
Yeah.
though it is a little bit tricky, a little bit dangerous, because like you said, you only have so much time. And if you stretch yourself too thin, then you're not really giving wholeheartedly to any one of those eggs. So I think you need to have more than one egg, but not so many eggs that you can't handle your basket, if that
Yeah.
makes
That's
sense.
very good. Yeah.
And then you have to really give your all and dedicate to all of those eggs. Obviously, one and the biggest is like what you have going on at home. And then you're going to collect enough eggs that, like, you kind of hedge your bets there so that your chances of success increase and you give to those particular areas. And if something's not working, you deem it, you have to look at things quickly and make decisions quickly and say, this
Yeah.
one's not working, get the egg out of the basket. And that's something that I have edited and learned. I used to be like, oh, but I've taken time on this. And
I
I
spent
I
some
don't want
money
to
on
let it
it.
go. I don't want, Right. And I don't want to let this egg go. The longer you keep that egg in the basket, all it's doing is rotting in there. So the longer you keep it in there, the grosser it's making your basket. I'm really running this analogy really to the end here, but it's so true, right? But it's so
We're following
true,
though. We're following it, but it is
right?
true. It's like,
Yes. It's so
there is this,
true.
I did see something that showed like, you have these two oranges that are in this basket or whatever it was. And one orange begins to rot before the other one. Is like when they're completely separate, it's completely fine. But when they're together, the one that's rotting actually starts making the other one rot that much faster. So
Right.
there's
And it
some,
is true because look, that thing that's not going well, it's also going to require more of your time. And it also
yeah,
requires more of your energy. And that's a big thing for me is like, what is taking my energy? And when something's not going well, we all know it takes more of your energy. It
that's so
does. It
true.
just does. We're naturally inclined to complain about things and to feel bad about things. And so once something starts to go bad and I realize it's just not the opportunity I thought it was, instead of doing that like gray area where I'm like, but I don't want to let it go and I put so much into it and I just chop the head off and move on. And that was like
Gina,
a really good edit for me.
you are preaching right now, because that's true for business, but that's true for relationships. That's
Mhm.
true for so many things. There are so many things that are no longer serving us that we try to give crutches to and carry along into this new journey, this new chapter that we're going into, when it's actually time to take the scissors, cut that string, and keep it moving in that direction. So this is good
Totally.
because, I was going to ask you, like, what have you stopped doing lately in order to grow? And I do want you to lean into something that we talked about pre-show, which is how are
Yes.
you leveraging sobriety?
So, yes. So I'm coming up on 5 years of no alcohol. And that was one of the most significant, thank you, one of the most significant, pivotal, positive changes that I've ever made in my entire life. And I don't like really wave a flag for it that often, but I am so open about it. I do enjoy talking about it because it really had such a direct positive correlation in my life. And I want to share that with other
You should.
people, right? For
Yes.
me, I believe that, alcohol can be great, social drugs, social things that we do, right? If you have a little cocktail and you're the type of person that has a little one cocktail and then, woo, it's so fun. And then you go home and that's great. That's great. But if you're not that person, if it is getting in your way, and that's where I was in my life 5 years ago,
Mm.
it was getting in my way. It was preventing me from getting things out of life that I wanted for myself. It was preventing me from becoming the person that I knew I really was inside. You have to eliminate those things along with the bad ideas that aren't working, along with the bad relationships, the toxic people that are dragging you down. This alcohol, it's poison. And
Yeah.
a little bit of poison is fun, just like a cupcake. A little bit of a cupcake is fun. You eat 12 cupcakes a day, they got to get a crane to get you out of your house,
That's right.
So these are
That's right.
things that you can't allow them to take from you. They're designed to take from you. And you can only make that decision if you are going to allow these things to take from you. And I really encourage people, like, especially coming into December, because we all know it's next month's a new year, baby.
Right.
And you have such a good opportunity to start to eliminate the things from your life that do not serve you.
I think that, I say something often and it just permeates everything, which is your story is not for you. I believe that our lived experience, the challenges that we face, the divorces, whatever the things that we've gone through that we usually don't feel the most comfortable talking about because it takes the veil away and it exposes us. It allows us to, one, heal ourselves, but two, it helps
Mm-hmm.
other people to heal because they get a chance to hear your story. And sometimes they're either in that darkness themselves and they hear your story and go, that's exactly where I am right now. I needed to hear that from that person. God allows us to go through these things so that we can come out victorious on the other side and then shine that light into other people's darkness. And they can go, I see now. I see a way out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think you
beautiful.
should be
Yeah.
sharing that story even more.
Yeah. And I do enjoy trying to shine that light to show people the way out, because for me, it specifically was. And I get how it starts. It starts fun. Then you have, everybody has, I always say this, and I'm sorry for saying a bad word on your podcast, but like
Fine.
everybody has a bag of shit to carry. That's what I
Yeah.
always say. And what's in that bag looks different for everybody. But like, you have to address the things in the bag or it gets too heavy and it weighs you down. And when you suppress a lot of, you don't want to look in the bag. So you use things like alcohol to avoid
Yeah.
having to look in there, because it's really hard to look in there. But meanwhile, you're still carrying that bag. And so for me, I needed to eliminate the alcohol out of my life. You know, it wasn't the alcohol that was the problem for me. I don't identify as an alcoholic. It was the fact that I didn't want to look in the bag. And I got rid of the alcohol and I looked in that bag, and it was hard and it was painful. On the first 2 years that I stopped drinking and I started looking in the bag were really rough for me.
Yeah.
But I took that time to sit with it, to sit with all of that and to process it so that then I was able to let it go. And I truly feel like I no longer carry around a lot of the things that were in that bag weighing me down.
You came out on
And
the
I
other
like
side
to spread that
victorious.
message. Yeah, you come out at the other side. And then I always say too, like life, we're gonna make mistakes. We've heard this since we're little. You're gonna make mistakes. Life is not about the mistakes. The mistakes don't define you.
That's
What
right.
defines you is how you respond to those mistakes, how you course correct, how you find personal growth, how you pick yourself back up. Let that define you, not the mistakes, how you bounce back. And I always say too, it turns out we all bounce. It's important to
Yeah.
understand that. We do.
It's
You could
good.
hit that ground, but you could bounce back up. And I think
We're
that that
all
is,
bouncy.
we're all bouncy, baby.
Come
Yes.
on. I love
Yes.
that.
So like bounce. Yeah.
Bounce back, man. So how are you managing life as a mom of six, a full-time brand? Like what parts of your business or personal life have you delegated? Like what tools or people in your life that you've hired or brought into your world are
Mm-hmm.
helping you to stay sane? Because this is the Leverage Lounge.
Yes.
How are you leveraging through
Right.
life?
I am just a couple years into my business, so I'm learning these things too. So I like to be very candid about that, because it's like I'll help you guys where I figure things out. And a lot of that is these relationships I build,
Yeah.
lean on people, lean on your network. Networking has been such a beautiful thing in my life. I help you, you help me, let's help each other, let's figure it out together. And that truly works. One of the biggest things I have is, obviously I have a phenomenal business partner in Travis. He's my life partner and my business partner. We do it together. I get a lot of the glory because I'm the marketing person and I'm like front of the house, but Travis truly is back of the house. And I think whether it's you have life partner, business partner, or someone, you need to have help. Also,
Yes.
this is something that I learned I'm in a networking group, and they were like, if you're in this group at this level and you don't have some sort of a personal assistant, that's insane, right? And I'm like always trying to do everything. And we had a guest speaker recently too, and he said, look, I'm at this point where, and it doesn't even have to be a certain financial point. It's just, what do you want out of your life? If you stay doing the minimal tasks in the rat race, like all that stuff, you will always be doing those things. At a
Yes.
certain point, you have to say, look, this may cost me. This is a risk, but it's a good risk to bet on because it will allow you to be successful. Invest in somebody to help you. So I recently brought on a personal assistant. She's phenomenal. It's part-time. The amount of minimal task stress that this woman has taken off my plate, oh my God. And it has
You can
allowed
breathe,
me
right?
to focus. Yeah. And now it's allowed me to focus on the things that I should be focusing on, because I shouldn't be focusing on trying to order the yearbooks for the kids and
Yeah.
trying to figure out why there's a letter missing off of my VIN number with my insurance company, and like all these minimal things that you have to do. They're going to take my license away if I don't figure it out. But like,
Right.
I don't have a half a day to dedicate to that. But Sasha does, And so then teams and systems are very, very, very important. And it will cost you. It is a cost of your business, but build it in. That's my recommendation, is look at that like that is something that is going to cost you something, but what it's going to give you is going to be so much more valuable, and you'll gain so much more success for it. It's worth it, you know? And I get it. It's
It's
really
going to cost you
difficult.
one way or the other, right?
Right. But it costs you more if you don't do it. It costs you more if you
Absolutely.
don't do it. And it prevents you from getting to the next step that you want to get to, that you're frantically on that hamster wheel every day, all day, trying to get to the next step. I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to get to the next step if you don't put teams and systems in place. You're just not. And I think that it is difficult though, because I'm frugal, like I am. And the thought of like paying somebody, because I like to be transparent about that, because everything's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're a housewife. Like no, I'm cheap. Okay. I like my money in the bank. I really do. And the thought of like paying somebody to do a task that I could do myself
Yeah.
was actually a really hard thing for me. And I knew I needed it, but I was like looking at the expense of it, and I just didn't want to do it for so long. And now I'm like, how stupid was that? Like resisting that for years. I should have done this, you know? So now I'm like, go get yourself a Sasha.
That's right. Well, what you're saying is leverage is a mindset. Before you spend any money, before you select that person who's going to do that thing, or even before you even select what things they're going to do, you have to have that little 2 millimeter shift from somebody's voice who says, like you said, you can't scale to the next level trying to do it all yourself. I like to say, you can't be the CEO, the cashier, and the janitor of your business forever. Not if you want to
Right.
scale, not if you want to expand, not if you want to grow. And if you're listening to this right now and you're tired of doing everything yourself, Gina is living proof that delegation is actually a superpower. So go visit leveragewithmike.com and learn how to build your virtual assistant team or your personal assistant team, what leverage actually looks like I have and like so many of my guests do. You don't need to hustle harder. You simply need to hire smarter in order to get to that next level. Let's talk about what people don't see when the cameras are off. All right. So I want to ask you some questions like, what is something that people completely misunderstand about you, other than the fact that they now know how frugal you are?
You know what? Honestly, Michael, I will say there's not much that they're missing. There's really not. Like the fans will tell you, like, I'm pretty transparent. Like I film looking homeless. Like I really do put a lot out there. But the one thing that I would say that I think people are learning now, but I don't think that they clocked, because, you know, I've taken the viewers on the journey of my personal life. And at the time, my 30s, really, like my whole life just kind of like, you know, so they saw that and they saw me. And so they're connected to me emotionally, and they like me. They like to see me pick myself up. But I think that
Yeah.
now for the first time, and it's only like via my social platforms, and I think they'll be excited to see next year, like people didn't understand that like I'm actually smart and I'm educated and I've worked my whole life, you know? And so I think people look at me like they think I'm funny. They think I'm sweet and kind. I mean, that is really nice. And they think I'm real and relatable. And I love that. And I
Yeah.
never want to lose that. But I am also educated, and I have worked my whole life, you know? Only when I moved to California pregnant with my third child, and we were moving for my then husband's, now ex-husband's job, that's when I took a step back from working. So I've always had this side of me and this hustle in me and the ability to do something good and big. I just, like a lot of
Yeah.
women did, you know, I took a step back to support my husband's career.
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you were doing before you were doing all of this?
This is a fun story. So I like to just tell people, when I graduated college, I graduated from Hofstra University on Long Island, because I'm from Long Island, New York. I was broke and I wanted to travel. So I took a job as an international flight attendant. It was with a private charter company, and they had a contract with the troops. So I would fly the troops like all over the world. So I've been everywhere. I've been to so many like incredible places, you know,
Yeah.
and seen so many things. And that was like a cultural education that I just think you cannot buy.
You can't get it in a book. You got to go see these things,
You
right? You have to
can't.
travel.
You have
Yes.
to. Yes. So I like to tell people that because I truly think that that is important. And for me, as like a young girl, I didn't grow up with a lot. I come from very humble beginnings. My parents work really hard and they have like a nice retirement now, but my parents came from nothing and worked their way. So like when I was young, we were like kind of poor, but like I didn't even know we were poor because I had such a lovely childhood. So I had this beautiful childhood. I felt like I was kind of in a bubble because I didn't know, I had great parents, I had great friends, grew up on Long Island. And then it's like you go out there and it gives you perspective. When I say we were kind of poor, that's not poor. There's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is
Yeah. There's
poor
poor
and
and
then
then
there's
there's like
poverty.
poverty. Right.
Yes, yes, right. There's like hand-me-downs, and then you're in the street in a hut. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a difference there. And I think it's important to see that and understand that so that then you respect and you appreciate
Bingo.
what you have, what you were given, how you were brought up, where you're going, all of it. It's just you get just an appreciation for life. And I was able to go to some really amazing places, and I was able to go to some places that were, kind of scary and really sad. And it
Yeah.
was good for me to see both. And then I came home and I was like, okay. And then I got engaged and I was like, all right, now I got to like make some money. So I worked for years actually at where I graduated at Hofstra University at the School of Medicine there as a course manager. And I was going to go back for my master's in health administration. And then I got pregnant. And then I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I just continued to
Different
work.
plan.
Yeah, different plan shift. And so then I just worked there until we moved to California.
What's a moment behind the scenes that's taught you more than any storyline ever could? One of those like crystallizing moments where you're like, you think back on it and you're just like, man, that shaped so much. Maybe seeing your first child born or like a moment
Oh,
where
well,
you,
that's wild. Isn't that wild? That
yeah,
is so wild. Like your first child born. I remember like literally them like flipping this baby on me and me being like, what just happened? Like, what is this? Like, it is the most bizarre thing. I mean, certainly the birth of your children changes everything.
everything
You go from a child to a parent.
just like that.
That is just like that. And it is the most significant thing that anybody can go through. I really believe that. And I don't think there's no other perspective shift that is greater than parenthood.
Mm,
All of it. The whole
mm.
thing, right? Because now you go from selfish, you only care about yourself, to the only thing that
Selfless.
matters is this other person. Yes, yes. And that shift, you can only get that out of being a parent. And I respect
That's
people
so
who don't
true.
want kids and all of that, but they don't get that perspective shift. And there's
Yeah.
something that comes with that perspective shift that you can only get from becoming a parent. So for
But there's
sure, that's the
there's so many
biggest.
people out there who even, maybe they can't. They've been trying to become a parent and they haven't been able to. But I can say that like just putting yourself in a position where others are dependent on you, that you're kind of taking on this mantle and saying, you know what, I've been in a place where I've kind of lived for myself and I've been doing this thing myself, but I actually want to be in a position where people are relying on me. Like you said, you go from selfish to selfless. And if you can place
Mm-hmm.
yourself in a selfless position, whether in business and personal life, being a team leader, this, you're a team leader. You choose
Mm-hmm.
to be a leader, and a good leader chooses to be selfless, where these people are relying
Mm-hmm.
on them to make good decisions, relying on them to create great networks, create great relationships, and they rest their business, they rest their family lives, their livelihood on the decisions that you are making. And
It's
choosing
crazy.
to
I
be
don't
a
know why
leader
we
and
would do
stepping into
this.
leadership, I think is one of the
Yes.
most powerful things that you can choose to do.
You know what, Michael? I just heard this recently and I was like, wow, that's so cool the way this is described. And I had never heard this before, right? And it was about the alpha, the whole idea, the alpha wolf in a wolf pack. And most people think that the alpha wolf is the strongest wolf. And that is how, like, most people, you think of an alpha. I'm an alpha, whether it's an alpha girl or alpha boy, we think we're the biggest, baddest, meanest wolf. But really, the true alpha in a pack of wolves is the one that looks out for the pack the most. That's the true alpha. And that is a selfless wolf. That is a selfless dog, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's really cool, because that's truly what it is. Like, to me, the strongest person in the group isn't the one that's going to go necessarily howl the loudest or attack the most. It's the one who's going to take care of the rest of the pack at all
I'm so
costs.
glad you said that, because there's this culture of even toxic masculinity where it's like, I'm the alpha man, you know, I'm the alpha dog, right? And it's very important to really define what the true alpha is. Where did that even come from? You know, misconstrued identity of what the alpha really is. And like you said, it's the one that protects the pack. It's the one that's looking out for everybody else with them.
Right. And that doesn't necessarily mean being the most aggressive. We all know, like, sometimes that means you need to take a step back and let somebody else in the pack shine, or you need to delegate different things to different people. And it's oftentimes that really the true alpha in a group isn't so obvious. You don't really always know, because they're oftentimes taking a step back to let everybody else have what they need in that pack, so that that pack can stay united and thrive. And I thought that was really cool. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is to be an alpha, is not always being like the loudest or the most aggressive, or, you know, the look at me. It's doing whatever needs to be done for the group. You know, there is a strongest in the pack, but that's just the strongest wolf in the pack. That's not the alpha.
Right. And that's not the only requirement. Being the strongest, whether we were talking physically or mentally, like, you have the IQ, but you also have the EQ. Where's your emotional maturity in all of this? And so I think that is so important. I love that. We can talk for ages on that, because I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
But I want to take you through our lightning round. On the Leverage Lounge, we like to do a lightning round. And this is just like fast, punchy questions that I'm going to ask you. Don't think too long, just go, and it'll be fun, right? But I may ask you to kind of give us a little bit more detail on something depending on what you say, right? So here we go. If Bravo gave you your own spinoff today, what's the title?
The Gatekeepers.
The Gatekeepers. I like it. Your favorite low budget luxury?
I mean, I love Aquaphor. Put it everywhere.
Okay, there we go. It sounded like the hot sauce commercial. I put that on everything.
Put it on everything.
That's good. All right. Most underrated part of motherhood?
Oh my God, these are so hard. Underrated part of motherhood. Underrated part of motherhood? I mean, we only get that one Mother's Day. That's pretty bogus, don't you think? I think every day we should be celebrated more, I think. That's kind of bogus.
Go.
Yeah. That there's only one Mother's Day a year.
That's right. You get one mom. Let's go. Last DM that you responded to that surprised you?
Chrissy Teigen DM'd me once. That was surprising.
Who did?
Chrissy Teigen.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that one surprised me.
She's awesome. One thing Housewives fans would be shocked to know about your actual business skills.
That I have them.
That you even have some.
Yes. That I do the work myself. Like, you know what I mean? That I'm the one, it's me, you know, like I'm meeting the inspector. I'm meeting the termite guy. Like, I go to my listing appointments. I'm there when we do the staging. Like, I'm there every step of the way. How involved I am, truly, and how much I care.
That's good. I like that one, because I imagine a lot of people just think that, like, are you really a realtor, or do you just have people doing it and then this is just for the show? And are you really actually showing homes? But like you said, like you have an open house today, right? And you're showing somebody homes today.
And I have to get there. Yes, I have to do this. Like, I work every weekend. I work every day. I'm really doing this job. And I think that that really is why I'm successful, because I think that it is a thing in the housewife world where women will have a business, but then you see that a lot of them are not successful, because if you do not do the work and it is not a real business, it will not be successful. And everybody knows, as a realtor, it doesn't matter how, is it helpful that I've built this platform for 8 years and I have this platform? Absolutely. I'm not going to say it's not. But we all know as realtors, if I was not doing this job and I was not doing this job well, I would not have success because
No
this
question.
is a really hard job. A really hard
Say it
job.
again.
Realtors deserve their flowers. It is not an easy job. And I'm telling you that because I do the job.
That's right. You get one phone call to solve a business problem. Who are you calling?
Travis Mullen.
I knew you were going to
All
say
day,
it.
every day. All day, every day.
We
Any problem, business, personal, every. It is like he will solve all the problems, and he will.
Tell Travis we're going to bring him into the Leverage Lounge one day, all right? Because I got to get him in here.
You should bring him into the Leverage Lounge. I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. The fact that he drives me nuts, Michael, nuts, because like he doesn't do any social media. He won't and I'm like, you're brilliant and you're so humble and you're the whole package. And it's frustrating to me. Yes.
Well,
yes, let's get him in here.
We'll get him on here because this isn't so much social media as much as it is. I look at my audience as the classroom, and my goal is to just really expose what people who are already successful at a very high level have done to use leverage to scale their business. And I'm learning as I'm having the conversations, but I also hope that my audience is watching and listening and learning at the same time. Like, man, that's what I need to do, because the truth of the matter is, as we talked a little bit about earlier, is that most small business owners try to do it all themselves and they have no idea what leverage even looks like. One, because they just lack the exposure of what it can do in their business. And then secondly, even if they're exposed to it, because there's books, there's podcasts, there's anything, right? But then there's also the execution. How do I execute on that thing? Maybe you talked about having that personal assistant. You talked about having a Travis Mullen in your life. Like, how do I scale? Well, okay, I need to have the right people in the right places, taking care of the right things so I can focus on my genius and they can focus on theirs.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we'll get them in here. All right, couple more. Funniest celebrity moment that didn't make the show.
Well, we don't really have that much crossover on the show, like actively on the show. But I met Molly Shannon in person, and it was like one of the most amazing, because I grew up on SNL, because I'm from New York. So meeting Molly Shannon was one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life. And she's a fan of the show. And when these people know who I am, it blows my mind, Michael. Like, it blows my mind. I'm like, how do you even know who I am? That, and then, for sure, I would say that one of the most, that meeting Chrissy Teigen, like meeting these people that I like put on such a pedestal and have watched, over the years, my whole life, and they've built themselves these amazing, platforms and all that, and done incredible things. And then to think that they know who I am.
Yeah.
That's like cool. Wild to
You're
me.
Like, no, I know you. How do you know me?
Right. I know. And then I'm like, oh my God, all my messiness. Like, that's like...
Yeah. Because they also, that's right. They know all the stuff. All right. Last lightning round question for you. Which real housewife from any city do you think would crush it as an entrepreneur, and why?
Oh, I mean, a lot of them, but for sure, my girl, Heather Dubrow. Heather Dubrow, I don't think that woman sleeps. I swear. So, I mean, she is very smart. She really is. Yeah. Like, to me, Heather is like a mentor in my life. And I think that's important. I think it's important to, she's a little bit further ahead of me in life. I respect the way that she parents. I respect the way that she too is, maybe it's because she's a New Yorker as well. Like, Heather Dubrow has so much wealth and success, but she will be like oddly cheap about like the weirdest things. But it's like because she values money and she's aware of, and so I've always had such a respect for Heather, and she's going after it. I mean, she's incredibly successful already, and I don't think there's any limit to like the success that she would reach.
I think she's a great example. She has, Eric Thomas always talking about having that dog in you, right? You got to have that dog in you. She has that,
Yeah, for sure. And then at BravoCon, Candy Burris just got like the Lifetime Achievement Award. I mean, honestly, sometimes I'm like, even for Candy to have like originally even agreed to come on the show, I think is
Yes.
wild because it's like she had such a
Yes.
level of
She was
success
extremely successful
away.
before she even got there.
Right. And then like to come on and then continue to become such a successful housewife. Like, I
Right.
mean, she's got it. And she's
A
still so
successful
humble. And now
housewife. And then
her daughter.
and then her daughter, and then, but she also has multiple brands that she's still like, she didn't have to do any of this other stuff anymore, but she still is doing it and doing it at extremely high levels. I mean, that's a
Right.
great
Yeah. And
example too.
she shares times and points in her life that were not amazing. Like I see her even doing it now. Like obviously I follow her like on social and stuff. And I give her so much credit for doing that because I love the housewives that show not just the perfectly filtered, the perfect,
Right.
I make so much money. I'm so wealthy. Everything's perfect. I like the women that show no, it's not like that. And there were points in my life that were really low and there were bad business decisions that I made. But this is how I recovered and I moved on. And I like the real ones.
Yeah. The ones that show the bounciness, right? How bouncy they
Yes.
really.
The ones that show the bounciness. Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm originally from Atlanta. So, that one has a soft spot for
Yeah.
my heart. Grew up
I
listening
get
to So
that.
So Def and Escape and all of them. So,
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So
Everybody loves
what does
Candy.
success look like for you in the next 3 to 5 years? If we're future casting, what does that look like for Gina Kirschenheiter?
I just want to continue to grow. I want to expand into areas that I can. I really want to make a splash in the real estate industry. And then I would like to start in the next 3 years to pivot to the next level, which I think is investing. So that's my goal because I think that that's a good goal for me is to get to the point where my business entities are generating enough money that now I can take that money and go and invest it into a bigger opportunity. And I think that everybody should kind of have that mindset of like,
Yes.
what's next? What's the next step? What's the higher step? And for
Yes.
me, I would like to get myself up on that step within the next 3 years.
So right now it's about making money and ultimately to be able to buy things that make you more money, right?
Yes, exactly. And then eventually the dream, the hope is that those things just start to do it themselves,
Let the money do the hard work because we got it. We get,
Yeah.
at some point we're going to get old and tired and,
Right.
or
I
maybe
think
not
I'm
old
there
and
now.
tired. I still want to, I still want to have the energy. I don't want to stop working only because I've gotten old and tired. I want to stop working well before that so I can actually enjoy the fruit of the labor that I put in and the wise decisions that I made
Well, I
along
think,
the way. Yeah.
it's exactly what you just said, Michael. It's like if you don't get to that next step, that next level, you will retire old and tired
And
because
tired.
right now I'll tell you, I'm not old yet. I mean, I'm older than I was, but I'm not old yet, but I am tired. I'm tired because every day I'm giving it all I got every day, every day, every day, because in 10 to 20 years, I don't want to do this anymore,
That's right.
So it's like, be aware that like of what you're giving it all you got, but what is that goal? Because that goal is not to get old and tired, to just
That's
get
right.
old and be able to enjoy your life, and be there
Bingo.
for your grandkids and take your family on vacation and all that stuff. And I want that.
And listen, getting old itself is a blessing, right? Because there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
people who didn't get old. And so
Right.
that part, but we want to be able to enjoy those years. And that's what we're talking about. So I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Couple more questions because I know you got to roll here pretty soon. What are you teaching your kids about building their own version of success?
Oh, so we're like all over that with our kids. Our kids will always come to us with like little business ideas and plans, and we're like, okay, we're always we take it seriously, right? And we
Good.
teach them like if my kids like love to hustle, they love to like sell stuff out on the street, and I'm like, do
Are they
it,
New
like
Yorkers too or
like
something? Like, what is that all
right?
about?
Yeah, they're like they were New Yorkers at heart for sure. They're always straight
Apparently so.
hustling, right? And I'm like, I don't even know what they're trying to make money for, but they just think it's exciting and fun and thrilling. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. But like me and Travis are literally when they do any of these things, we teach them the real back end business side of it. And we try to make them understand, oh, you have an idea? Okay. You want to make bracelets, girls? That's great. How are you going to get the capital in order to make the investment into your business to be able to make these bracelets? This is how much it's going to cost you to get the materials to make these bracelets, right? Okay. Well, you're going to have to go, and then they'll go and they'll like sell their tchotchkes on the street. And then we'll
That's
take
so
that money and
cool.
we'll go to Michael's and we'll buy the beads and stuff. And then they'll make the bracelets, and then we'll teach them like how to price it and how to, like all that stuff. Like this one time, because this all came out of the fact that my kids, one time we were like, what are they doing? They were selling stuff, but then they realized they came into the garage freezer. They took all the ice pops out of the freezers and they took them across the street to the park, because we lived right across the street from the park at the time. And they started to like sell all these ice pops. They were ice pops that I bought, right? So then we like had to explain to them, like, first of all, you can't do that without like telling us. Like, that was mistake number one. That's theft. Like, you can't do that. Number two, like, you didn't make all of this money because we had to explain to them the cost of the box of the ice pops versus how much they were selling them for. They actually lost money. I was like, because you owe me X amount of money now for this box of ice pops. So you actually still owe me, after all of your effort, $3. Thank you. You know what I mean? So that was like, we have to like sometimes like reroute recourse. But I do always encourage my children, like, this is another thing that I think is really cool. My daughter doesn't understand why my kids have to get like a work release sign in order to participate in the show, but my children don't get paid for the show. It all goes to me, right? And so this is a weird gray area where in reality television, because if you're a part of the union, like the SAG union, kids and everything, they're protected and they get paid and they have to have an account that money goes directly into until there's a certain age and the parents can't touch it and all that. And I agree with that. I think that's the way it should be. But because reality is non-unionized and it's like a weird area, the children don't have that. So like they have to get a work release in order to participate, but they're not getting paid to do this. And I don't think that's right. So like every year that my children participate in this show, I actually open up an account for each one of them and I deposit X amount of money into that account every year, because I don't want my kids to ever grow up and have like any kind of feeling about that. And I just think that's what's right. But my daughter has requested this year, should I get my contract for next year, she's requested to go in and she would like to speak to the powers that be and she would like to address this with them. And yes. And my daughter is 11. Okay. So I have encouraged her to do this because I feel like it's important. And I told her, look, you have to take this seriously. You're going to have to do a presentation. I'll help you build that presentation. Like, it can't be a joke. It has to be real, but I will request this meeting for you. And you can't have your expectations, you have to understand that you may not get what you want, but it's still important for you to advocate for yourself.
That's right. Put the power in the journey, but don't get so hung up on the results, right? Don't focus on the results, focus on the journey, because she's going to learn so much through this. And God bless you for even, encouraging her and helping her to build that presentation. Because like you said, this is a real deal. This is, she's gonna be talking to people who make big decisions with a lot of money and a lot of people. And just for her to even want to be in a room like that and say, I have something to say, and realize that she has something to say that could change not only her life, but the lives of so many other people. I think that's really powerful.
Right. Yes. And I believe you have daughters. And the thing that I want her to understand is, yes, she's in a room with big people who make big decisions about big money, but her voice still matters.
Matters. Amen.
And what she has to say matters. Yes, I really feel that in my heart. And I want to raise my girls up and my sons up just understanding that they have personal worth and value, and what they think and feel matters. And it doesn't matter who you have to go communicate these things to, who they are, what you feel inside is just as important as everybody else.
Some of the biggest decisions and wisest decisions that we've made as a nation and as a world have come from the minds of children, young people, I should say. So I love that you're doing that. And my daughter's 11 as well. So we have to get them on like a play
they would
date
be
or something,
friends.
right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Friends.
Yes. They could
That'd be
take over
awesome.
the world.
I know. Seriously. Hey, they should start a podcast.
Yes,
Right?
the minis. Yes,
Who's
the mini
that?
me's.
Who's
Yes, I
that?
love that. Oh,
Who's
that
that?
was Clover, my
Clover.
dog.
Oh, hi, Clover.
I have
All right.
Clover and Meatball.
Clover and Meatball. It- is that one like a pit bull or something?
No,
Bulldog?
they're both doodles actually, but I'm Italian, so we have Meatball for me, and then Travis is Irish, so we have Clover for him.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So last question I have for you, and I can let you go. What does it look like for you to use your platform for legacy? What are you thinking about when you start thinking about what your legacy is going to be? Obviously, you don't know how long you're going to be on the show. Like you said, God willing, you're on it next season, but the seasons are at some
Right.
point, you're no longer going to want to do it. They're probably no longer going to want you. At some point, there's going to be some transition.
Yeah.
And as you
Totally.
have this level of this platform, you're leveraging it now to build businesses and build your family. But what does legacy look like for you as you use this platform?
Yeah, I mean, I would like that is why like a huge part of why I knew I had to do something outside of the show itself, because the show has a life expectancy and I'm very aware of that. And so I wanted to build something that extends beyond that. So I do see it transitioning into, look, your whole platform, everybody, whether you are on a show or not, your social media platform, what you're putting out there, it's just who you are. And so I'm going to continue to do that beyond, the life of this show. And I'm hopeful that people will just follow me on my journey as I continue to do that, because my platform isn't about the show. It's about who I am as a person. And I like to fully show who I am as a person. And if at the end of it all, people look at my page on my platform and they think, wow, she was a real one. Wow, she was funny. Wow, she loved her family. Wow, she worked hard. That will mean everything to me. I'm sure that it will be a little bit of like, wow, she had that stint of really bad hair, but we're going to try to get rid of that.
There was that one time, right?
Right. There was those bad tracks, but we've moved on from that, Michael.
We're past that. Well, good. Well, listen, if you loved this conversation and you're ready to scale your life and your business with clarity, systems, and community, head on over to leveragewithmike.com. You'll find the past episodes. You'll find insights on how to use leverage in your business to scale, and a behind the scenes look at how people just like you are multiplying their impact without multiplying their workload. So Gina, thank you so much for just being raw, being real, and being refreshingly business-minded in a world that often misses that side of you. So that's been really cool.
Thank you, Michael. It was my pleasure.
You've officially joined the Leverage Lounge, and just know that we're cheering you on.
Woo!
And for every move you make.
Love it.
We're going to be applauding. And I do have to say this or else she will kill me, but I have a friend named Dana, and she's like, tell Gina that I watch her all the time, and she's my favorite one on the show, and I absolutely love her. And she's like, and did you know this? And did you know that? And, and so I said, I will make sure that I tell her that Dana says hi.
Please tell Dana, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for watching. And thank you for putting up with all of our shenanigans.
All the shenanigans.
That's awesome. The next time we're together, we'll have to give her a shout out.
We will. We'll do that. We'll give her a personal shout out. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
And she's actually getting her real estate license right now. Her husband is already at EXP, and she's getting her real estate license right now.
Oh my God.
I'm like, let's do this thing. Yeah.
That's amazing. So maybe we could even meet at an EXP event.
Maybe we can even do a co-sponsorship.
I would love that. Look
on.
at this, making business moves.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love it. Yes.
You're the best, Gina. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. And like I said, let Travis know we're coming for him. He's going to come step in the lounge with us.
Okay, I will warn him.
All right, sounds good. Make sure you hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to this show if you haven't already, and leave a comment on something that was a big takeaway from you that you absolutely loved from this episode. And be sure to share this with a friend. Until next time, I'm Mike Collier. This is the Leverage Lounge, and we'll see you soon.